very expensive. People think, well, it has to be cheaper to kill someone than to keep them in jail, but it's very expensive proposition to kill someone, and because the system is so broken, and we think we have the myth that we're doing something by having capital punishment. We're not. So it ends up being a very expensive proposition.
And I would add, Bill Clinton, but I would give Hillary Clinton some responsibility in this. One of the things he did when running in '92 to show he was hard on crime was approve the execution and carry it through of Ricky Ray Rector.
Wasn't that terrible? I remember that day, and I said to myself...
And he was so out of it in terms of what was going on. When he went to his execution, they asked him, does he want to finish his dessert and his final meal? And he said, I'll do it after the execution.
Yeah.
He didn't even know what was happening to him. And that's, to me, is if this guy doesn't even know what's going on when he's being executed, the homicide he committed, it's hard to hold somebody with that kind of...
Yeah, Clinton showed his stripes with that, didn't he? Even before he was elected, you knew what he was about. It was all show, and he was willing to sacrifice anybody, really. But
all right, one last thing we'll ask you about, how I appreciate you running through all this. The International Criminal Court, I think that's a real key issue in the American psyche. I think the Republicans have done a pretty good job of sort of warding off debate on this. The question is, should America be subject to an international court that would prosecute war crimes and could theoretically bring American soldiers before their court?
Of course it should. We came out of World War II. We had the Nuremberg trials. We set up the UN. We signed on to the UN Charter. We wanted international law to regulate conflicts, not war-making by the dominant powers, of which the United States is the most dominant now. And the reason that our leadership will not support the International Court is they're afraid they'll be brought before it. We have bombed a new country on an average of every 18 months since World War II. We marched recently into Afghanistan and Iraq to overthrow governments and occupy those countries, which pose no real threat to the United States. And those are war crimes. And so that's why we're not signing on, but we should. And everybody who commits war crimes should be brought to account.
All right. Well, Howie, I got your bio, but didn't say your age, but you've been active in movements for peace, justice, and the environment since the 60s, and now you're unloading trucks for UPS. How's your back, I guess, is my...
My back is great.
Well,
I
good,
think unloading those trucks, keeps it in good shape. I'm 53.
All right.
And I got started early in my early teens in the San Francisco Bay Area where I came up, and, civil rights and the anti-war movement were very much alive, and I got swept up into that, and I've been active ever since.
All right, great.
Well, if you don't, if you've heard Howie Hawkins talking to us and you're not impressed by his positions and by his grasp of the issues, you gotta, like someone who has this grasp of the issues and is running for the Senate and is, doing an honest day's back-breaking work for UPS at the same time. That's pretty impressive to me. So
thank you, Howie. We really appreciate the time, and I think you've really told me a lot I didn't know. I'm so glad we had you on.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
I appreciate you having me on.
Well, all right. Appreciate you running, and we'll do our bit to support you from this end.
Right. Thanks,
okay,
Howie.
Thank you.
Thanks.